There we go. Yo, 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 yo. What is up? What is going on? Welcome to Daily Fitness Live Stream Show. All right, what's going on? Yes, we're doing a Sunday stream, a stream on a Sunday. We don't normally do this one, but I guess we have to take a little time to do some things. And I just was looking at some stuff on the internet, and I figured I might as well hop on and jump on and do a little quick live stream before, might as well. Why not? I was supposed to hop on and do one tomorrow, which I'm probably going to do one tomorrow too. But we want to hop on today because I saw some stuff that I was looking at and I was like, man, this is actually kind of crazy. Maybe I should hop on a live stream and run through this real quick. And I decided, why not? Let's get it going. But yes, Sunday stream, we are in full effect. We're going to go ahead and run through this. It's not going to be a long one, be a shorter stream than usual. I got stuff I got to do, but we're going to get through this today. And as you can probably read on the thumbnail, if you didn't see it, global protest is like everywhere is what I see going on. So I wanted to bring some of this stuff to the forefront and bring it to a lot of people's attention. Because yesterday I had to do a stream about Charlie Kirk. Wait, what's today? Today's Sunday. Did I do a stream yesterday? When did Canelo? Yeah, that was yesterday because Canelo and Crawford fought yesterday. So yesterday, I did a stream about Charlie Kirk. I went ahead and did my take on the Charlie Kirk situation. If you ain't seen it, it's the last stream we did. You can see it, his face all over the thumbnail. Basically just spoke on Charlie Kirk, his impact in the macro viewpoint, and gave you my perspective, my twist, my little, ring on it and how I felt about the situation, what was going on. And looking at it and seeing the impact that he had, whether it was good or bad, and then looking at the macro point of view and, basically seeing why everything is going the way it's going and what direction everything is headed in the big scheme of things, as opposed to looking at the small, angry people on the left and angry people on the right in this unfortunate situation that it is. Looking at what's really going on as opposed to the big picture. I mean, looking at what's really going on and taking a look at the big picture to see where are we headed and what direction are we going in the midst of all this chaos that we see. So go look at that, because then I kind of got caught up in looking at some stuff today, which tied me into this, seeing all the global protests going on. Not even knowing that the Charlie Kirk situation reached all the way out to freaking UK, which I was like, golly, he made it way out there. Like, yo, he made it way out there. Shout out to him. But, his situation sparked a situation across other, areas of the world. But there's also other protests and other things that are happening across the globe I wasn't aware of. I was like, I didn't know that was going on. Some people may know, but I wasn't aware of it. So I was like, well, you know what? If I don't know, maybe somebody else might not know. And I want to bring it to the forefront just to show you kind of exactly what I'm seeing, because this is all in like a week. All this stuff has been going on within a week. This whole week, a whole lot of stuff has been happening. So in the midst of like 7 days or less, all of this stuff I'm about to show you has just been transpiring. And some have been boiling in the background, but all of this is going on in the midst of 7 days. And the crazy part about it is, when you think about it, we had 9/11 just passed, and it just dawned on me that 9/11 passed. And Charlie Kirk, he got assassinated. When did he pass? When did Charlie Kirk pass? Charlie Kirk passed. What was it? It was what day? What day? Oh, come on. October. Okay. Charlie Kirk passing day. What day did he pass away? It was just a few days ago. But what day exactly was it? September. Well, he didn't pass away on September 11th. What day? What day he passed away on? 10th. Okay, thank you. I thought I was tripping. So he passed away on the 10th. So since he passed away on the 10th and got assassinated on the 10th, it's like it overshadowed the September 11th. Because I didn't see anything on my social media feed that had anything to do with, any like patriotism or anything like that. I didn't see anything of that nature. Like 9/11 came and it went. There was nothing big that was sparking. Normally every year on 9/11 there's patriotism, and there's a hand over your heart and the Star Spangled Banner and all this. That was like nothing. Like nothing happened, because the very next day the news was all about Charlie Kirk. So 9/11 got overshadowed completely. Everybody was angry on 9/11. Come to think about it, if you really think about it, like 9/11 was just like grazed over. Like everybody was like, whatever with 9/11. The emergency was Charlie Kirk on 9/11, which is crazy. So 9/11 passed, and I was like, oh snap, we're already past 9/11. Then we had the fight yesterday with Crawford and Mayweather. Shout out to Terrence Crawford for winning. You know what I mean? He pulled something through that we'd never seen before. I didn't get to see the fight. I was streaming. Shout out to you, Miss Crawford. Yeah. From what I've seen, the highlights was really good. Put up a good fight. You know, he didn't do the whole running like people were thinking. I was honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I was hoping he would win, but I was kind of thinking Canelo was gonna sneak it past him only because of the fact of the weight class difference. That's the only thing I was looking at. I was like, man, the weight class might be a big deal because you're jumping up 2 weight classes to beat this dude. I think the power and thing is gonna make a big difference. But whatever, he still pull out the underdog. And like I said, I always want the underdog to win, and he did. He pulled through. So shout out to Terrence Crawford again. But yeah, but like I was saying, like with everything that's been going on, like Charlie Kirk passed away. 9/11 just grazed over because on 9/11 everybody was fussing and arguing and looking at the footage over and over again. And now after all of that has happened, I kind of looked at some other things, and there's just been, there was a Denver shooting the next day. There was, there's been a bunch of there was a stabbing of a few days before Charlie Kirk had got assassinated. A man got beheaded in Dallas, Texas, like the day after Charlie Kirk as well. I mean, there's been a bunch of like crazy, random, sporadic events that's just been happening just all over the place, just going and going and going. Plus, there's protests going all over. So I want to go and take a look and highlight the protests. That's what I want to pay attention to, just to show you like what all is going on across the globe in just a matter of this week alone, which is crazy. It's just crazy. But before we get into all that, I kind of jumped ahead of myself. Let me get straight. Let me get this across real quick. We are multi-streaming on 4 different platforms. We are on YouTube, Twitch, Kick, and Rumble. If you're on YouTube, do me a favor. When you see that thumb up button, hit the like button on YouTube to get this algorithm out. We greatly appreciate it for sure. And also, if you want to contribute to today's show, bam, there it is. The Cash App and the Venmo's right there. Cash App is Daniel2888. Venmo is Danny-Daniel-00 to contribute to today's show. It's greatly appreciated. And with that being said, hopefully your day's going good. It's Sunday and the kids go to school tomorrow, but if you're having a bad day, let Mr. Chow tell you something.
Oh, you're having a bad day? Did you die?
I got shot.
But did you die?
And as long as you didn't get unalive, you still have a chance to make a difference in this world. You got an opportunity to make something happen, regardless of how hard it is, hell or high water. Hold your head up and push through and make it through whatever it is that you're going through, because we all going through something. Yes, we are. So let's get it. With that being said, I don't want to waste too much time because, like I said, this is just going to be a one-topic show today. Global protests going on all over the place is what it seemed like. Not 100% global, but like, what is it? 4 out of the 7 continents? Yes. And for those of you who don't know, there are 7 continents for all you younger kids out there. Some of y'all don't know that there's 7 continents. So let me be the first to tell you if you didn't learn it. So we're going to go ahead and dive right in. We're going to just put the economy banner on here. So basically that's what we're talking about, but it's like a global economy, but protest in the economy. Same thing. I mean, whatever. We can rock with it. But without further ado, we're going to dive right into it. We're going to start off with, I don't have these in exact order. I should have these in the order. What should we start with? We'll start with London. We're going to go to London first, all right? So that's what we're going to run to. We're going to run right up to London. We're going to check out how London's doing because London got some stuff going on right now. So with that being said, let me pull this up. Where is it at? Bam. Bam. Banner. All right, so first we're going to start with London. London has an anti-immigration protest going on. It's like 120,000 people, 100,000 people marching right now. We're going to go ahead and take a look at this. So let's go ahead and take a look at what's going on in London. So it said that there's tens of thousands of people out there. However, I got this up right here. And if you look at this, this is live. So this is a live stream right here, or a live view of what's going on. And I kind of got it backed up a little bit. I'm kind of like behind, but let me get you a view. Does this look like 10,000 people to you? This is way more than 10,000. This is not 10,000 people. I'm not the smartest man in the world, but there's more than tens of thousands of people. So they got this going on in London. So they're out there protesting all this stuff that's going on. There's a bunch of different things that are happening in London. And as you can see, the aerial view of the live view of what's going on in London. It's just a lot of things that are happening. And they got some guy named, was it Tommy something? I think his name is Tommy. It's some dude. He's out there like protesting as well, and he's got this little like microphone. He's over here speaking like he's at a concert and all this stuff. I don't really know who he is or what he's talking about or what he's doing, but yeah, here it is right here. And as you can see, people are just like look at this, like a bunch of ants. Like they said, tens of thousands of people. I don't know, man. I think that's more than tens of thousands. I think at some point the camera keeps going. That's gonna hit 100 at some point for sure. Look at that. That is not no tens of thousands of people. I think you're at 100,000 at some point. Look at this. That is a lot of freaking people, and it's still going. Look at it. But it's a lot. But it's a lot to take in. There's a lot of protests. As you saw, somebody had a RIP Charlie Kirk thing. You know, Europe isn't doing too good as far as their economy goes. They have a lot of, you know, it's really, this is an anti-immigration, that their immigration stuff is going on is really bad. And they're fed up with it. They are tired of dealing with it. You know what I mean? They're having too much crime dealing with the immigrants, and their law enforcement isn't really doing nothing about it. So it's endangering the people. And plus it's messing up their economy as well. So all these people are having a really, you know, tough time with life, and ain't nobody got time to be dealing with all that. Ain't nobody trying to deal with a tough time with life. So that's one of the things that we can see going on with England. Now, what I didn't know what was going on was also that there was another thing that's happening, and I wasn't aware of it, but recently I found out that Nepal got issues that they have going on too. The Gen Zers in Nepal are causing protests, and I have this video right here. Let me refresh the screen to see exactly what's so we can watch this video. But Gen Z in Nepal is causing a ruckus. They are out there doing their thing and, you know, causing protests over what the news said was a social media ban. I don't believe that to be true. I think that's a little bit too much, but then again, it could be true. But we're going to find out here in a second. So let me pull this video because we got two videos we're going to look at regarding Nepal, and we're going to see exactly which one is true and which one is not. So let me get that pulled back up for you here. Bam, there's that. And let's go ahead and watch this video and see what they say. So here we go.
Nepal's parliament still smouldered. Gen Z protesters logged back onto social media platform Discord. This time, not to plan marches, but to vote on who should lead the country next.
Some group are disagreeing, but, you know, in democracy we must agree and listen to all voices.
24-year-old Eugen Rajbhandari helped steer the debates. Among the names floated was Kathmandu's Rappaturn mayor. But it was former Chief Justice Sushila Karki who won the most votes.
They said Rappaturn mayor. Have we done that yet? Has America done a Rappaturn mayor? I don't know, but India doing it.
She was the one who led anti-corruption movement that time through the court and her verdicts.
That record is why young people like Eugen say they trust her now, at a time when faith in Nepal's political class has shattered.
We just want to see new government functioning well and accepting the needs and demands of the country for the political and economic prosperity of the country.
In just 2 days of protests, Nepal's government has been reduced to chaos. The Prime Minister resigned, his ministers fled. At least 50 people died, many of them after police opened fire on crowds of young people and children. I'm outside Kathmandu's civil hospital, where thousands of injured protesters were brought in earlier this week, and many of them are still being treated for gunshot wounds and broken bones. Their families tell me that even as they recover, they remain proud of the sacrifices they've made. Saraswati Mahara's 24-year-old son was shot twice as protesters stormed Parliament.
His elbow is destroyed. His right hand is destroyed. His future is gone.
The student leaders spent 4 days in negotiations with the president, mediated by the army, over who should lead an interim government. Now they see hope.
only the physical destruction have been made. The system haven't collapsed, so we are positive. So system is still here, constitution is here.
But Ms. Garki's appointment is just the beginning. She now faces the challenge of calming a fractured nation and proving this so-called People's Revolution can deliver real change. Meghna Bali, ABC News, Kathmandu.
Okay, so as you can see, Nepal is doing what Nepal's supposed to do. If your government ain't acting right, you're supposed to go ahead and do what you're supposed to do to overtake them if they ain't doing the right stuff. Where's my round of applause at? Shout out to them for doing what they should. I mean, if your government ain't doing what you're supposed to do, that's one of the reasons why you, at least over here, one of the reasons you have the right to bear arms. The government get out of line, you know, you go and you physically get them out of there, you know, because voting ain't doing it. You know, you're voted them in. They come in and say this, they get in there and they hit you with the okie doke and they fatten up their pockets and all this stuff and do all these backhand deals. At some point, you're like, no, we ain't stupid. We see what's going on. So then they go in there and taking matters into their own hands. Is what the people are supposed to do. So they're not wrong. They not wrong. I mean, you may not like the hellfire and brimstone that they got fires going on everywhere, but that's what you're supposed to do. Your government ain't acting right. You need to get some act right out of your government. You know what I mean? Because it's like, hey, we voted you in, bruh. Do your part. And if you ain't going to do your part, well, then where is it at? Where's my sound bite there?
Prepare the meat, so don't.
Exactly. That's what you need to prepare for. So shout out to them. We got one more video that's going to give us a little bit more insight on what's going on with Nepal. Because like I said, it was over some social media stuff, but I'm not sure if it is. But if it is, then the power of the internet and Gen Z is no joke at all. Gen Z ain't playing about the internet, and that's their money too. So let's go ahead and take a look at this video and see exactly another angle at the Nepal situation and protest that's erupting. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. It says it's over a social media ban. Let's dive deeper and find out. Here we go.
17 people were killed and dozens injured in Nepal after protests erupted over a social media ban. Protesters stormed the parliament complex in the country's capital after lawmakers issued bans on platforms that had failed to register and allow for government oversight. CBS News correspondent Chanel Call is following the story for us from the CBS News Broadcast Center. And Chanel.
Okay, so they're banning because of platforms that did not allow for government oversight. So the government didn't have access to some things that they wanted, and the government was like, okay, we'll just ban it if you ain't gonna give us the oversight. So there's a fight going on because it's like the government's like, we want in on whatever it is y'all doing. We just want to be nosy and know what y'all are doing. We can't have y'all doing something without us knowing. And Nepal's like, bro, mind your business. And they like, oh, okay. They like, they basically, the government basically said, oh, you don't want us to, you trying to keep us out of this? Okay, I got something for you.
FYM. Fuck y'all motherfuckers, you know?
And then that's what happened. So here we go.
Stormed the parliament complex in the country's capital after lawmakers issued bans on platforms that had failed to register and allow for government oversight. CBS News correspondent Chanel Call is following the story for us from the CBS News Broadcast Center. And Chanel, what is the latest on all of this?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of tension and anger around that social media ban, Mugo. A really fluid situation in Nepal's capital city, Kathmandu, today. I want to show you some video from the scene so you can see the real size and scope of these protests. We're talking about tens of thousands of people that took part in this, many of them young people in the country. And they were seen, Mugo, pushing through barbed wire, pushing through barricades, and then storming the Nepalese parliament building. Now, at first, police were there. They tried to fire tear gas, they used water cannons, but they were simply outnumbered by this massive crowd there. Eventually, they had to resort to using force. The commissioner's office says, opening fire at some of those protesters. So we know, latest count, that at least least 17 people were killed and 145 people were wounded in those clashes, Mugo. That also includes 28 police officers. So what's happening here? Well, at issue is the Nepalese government's decision to now block a lot of social media platforms in the country. That's what these people are protesting against. Now, some in the crowd were actually heard chanting, "Stop the ban on social media, stop corruption, not social media." So the government is saying that it sent about 24 social network platforms that are used in Nepal notices last week that what they had to do was now register their companies in the country and also submit to some government.
Bro, did you see that dude get launched back with that water? Look at guy right here in the green shirt. Okay, real quick, but pay attention to what they're saying. They said that some of them are talking about social media, some of them are talking about corruption with the government. So it's like the corrupt government that they're dealing with plus the social media ban. So it could be a mixture of the two, or it could be one or the other. Just depends on who you ask. But real quick, watch homie right here get just blasted, bro. Watch this. Look.
That what they had to do was now register their companies in the country and also submit to some government oversight. The government is saying they're doing this to sort of safekeep social media companies. TikTok, Viber, and 3 other platforms we know did do that. They did comply with those notices. So right now, they are still available in Nepal. But the companies that did not do this, including Facebook, X, and YouTube, those have now been blocked. So this is all stemming.
Dang, so they blocked Facebook, X, and YouTube in Nepal. They blocked all of those. Dang, why you blocking them, yo? Come on. You messing with people's views, you know? India people might be watching me too, you know what I mean?
I mean, from a bill.
I know Chanel watching me too. Her right here. Look, check her out, bro. Look at this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, buddy. I see you. Hey, baby. How you doing? All right, you on CBS News? This was what, like I said, this was 6 days ago. This is 6 days ago. So this is all rather new. So Nepal got a social media issue going on, and they're over there protesting, erupting the fighting with the government, and they're trying to vote out whoever they have. And then on top of that, you got the anti-immigration going on in London. But let's continue.
That the government says is made to sort of ensure that social media platforms are, quote, properly managed, responsible, and accountable. That bill, Mugo, also includes asking those companies to now appoint some kind of liaison officer or a point person in the country. But critics are saying that this is actually sort of a tool for censorship. So again, the situation on the ground is still very fluid, still very tense this hour. A lot of chaos around this. The government also now announcing a curfew around some key areas in the country, including, of course, the Parliament building and the presidential house.
Okay, there it is. There it is. Yes. It's showing the governmental power of censorship with the internet. That's what that is. There we go. Okay, we got to the meat and potatoes of it. So that's what it is. There's a situation that's happening, and there's a cause and there's effect, and then there's going to be a solution. So therefore, the government is basically flexing their muscles, saying, hey, we ain't have no regulation on certain things. So let's say, cool, we'll just ban you from this, this, and this, and this. And then now they're showing that we can censor you and stop you from doing, X, Y, and Z whenever we want to. We just got to get you to not fight and rebel whenever we do these censorships. You know what I mean? Like, we're going to censor you, but we got to see what happens when we censor you. It's like a test. You know what I mean? Like a psyop, basically. And they see they not having it over there with the internet. The Gen Z ain't playing about the internet. So they're fighting over this and the corrupt government at the same time. This is what it seems like to me. So the government's testing the waters to see what we can censor, to see what we can get away with, to see like how far can we go before they actually go gung-ho on us and actually go all out. And they finding out, they're seeing like how far that they'll go. And they're testing just a little bit, like if we can ban some stuff, if we can, ban this and ban that, what kind of reaction will we get from them? And then they'll start to probably figure out how to impose punishments on people. But slowly but surely, they'll try to get them more and more docile as the time comes, so they're able to censor, oh, you did this, we're going to censor that. Oh, you did that, we can censor that. So basically it's a big fight between the people and the government, seeing that the government's trying to be corrupt and censor them from having communications with the outside world. So they in their right to fight. So shout out to Nepal and the Gen Zs for standing up and defending yourself. Shout out to y'all. And yeah, shout out to and here's the live view again. This is back to London, to the tens of thousands of people they said they had protesting, but this ain't no tens of thousands of people, bro. This is hundreds of thousands of people for sure. There ain't no way you can convince me otherwise. Like, this is a lot of people out here in London. So this is central London protest, an anti-immigration march, and this is live footage of what's happening right now. Hoo-wee, boy, look at that. Look at that. Now, understand that, you know, the immigration thing immigration is on purpose. It's not by accident. So whatever you see right here, this is intentional. Like, they wanted this, they wanted to provoke this response. You know what I mean? Like, this response was provoked intentionally. They could have stopped immigration. They could have, like, not had immigration come. Then, you know, the crimes that came with the immigration was just atrocious, and people weren't, you know, handled correctly as far as the laws go. They weren't persecuted or brought to justice like they should have been. So the immigration is a thing of, you know, eliciting a certain response, but it's also another factor of a long driven out plan. You know, when you get to the point of immigration, part of your plan, there's certain other aspects that go into place of what happens next. And that's what, you know, we're seeing and what they're gearing up to do. Now, the next thing we're going to look at is who is next. Who is next? Who is next? Oh, what is this? Where is this at? Okay, no, Trump, you're next. Trump is up. Okay, so we have Trump, who was in the middle of a polls drop. His polls are dropping. This was just 5 days ago from MSNBC. Now, this was 5 days ago. This was before the Charlie Kirk, okay? Because Charlie Kirk was 9-10. So this is 9. So this is right before the Charlie Kirk. So let's see how people were feeling prior to Charlie Kirk, and then we're going to see what's going on now. So here we go. Let's check this out. Whoop, thought I had it up. There we go. Here we go.
Major protests continue against Donald Trump. We've seen more sustained protests against the first year here of this term than most modern presidents. And yet, at the same time, some of the things that Donald Trump is doing and seizing powers for are still getting backed up by the Supreme Court, which has so many Republican members. The rulings that we're seeing are against this backlash. Massive crowds in D.C., one church ringing its bells in solidarity.
And come to think about it, Trump ain't even been in the office for one full calendar year yet. This ain't even a calendar year. Bro been on a spree. Like, he has set the precedent of like how a president is supposed to take action. What the hell is that?
Sometimes think.
What the hell is that? Oh, there we go. Okay, there was an ad playing on a different video that I had. Okay, I found it. But Trump has set the precedent for watching how fast a president can take action. You know what I mean? Because usually, you know, with the previous presidents in the past, you'd be like lollygagging, like they'll make a decision like once every like 6 months. You know what I mean? Like, oh, he did this, and, you know, do some backhand deals behind the scene. He'll do that later on, 3-4 months down the road. This dude is like, sign this, sign that, do this, try that, try this. Did that work? No. Okay, we're going to do this, do that, sign this, put this order in, try this, try that. Did the court pass that? No. Okay, let's try this again. Put this over here, sign this, sign that, move that over there. Like, he has showed, like, you can move whether you like his decisions or not. He's showing like how swiftly things can get done as a president, good or bad. He's showing like, hey, like the next president that come in, if they like moving their feet slow, people gonna always remember. Like, do y'all remember when Trump was in office? That fool literally like sat at the White House for 8 hours a day, signing this, signing this, signing that, signing this order, making a decision. Like, dude woke up and was like, we're going to change the Space Command Station from Colorado to Alabama. Yep, that's what we're going to do. And we're going to move it next week. And he made it happen. Anyway, let's continue.
Meanwhile, in Missouri at the Capitol, at the U.S. Open, Donald Trump attended, the first president to do so in over 20 years, and there was clearly a mixed reaction that included audible boos. That's just one indicator from sports. Meanwhile, on the streets of Chicago, we saw signs against ICE and Trump's crackdown. An aerial view here of the protests about Trump sending in more federal troops. One sign said Trump must go now. You could see that hovering in the crowd. The Democratic governor speaking out.
It's, I believe, a nefarious plan. It's one that's been repeated over and over again by, well, tyrannical dictatorships across history, where you try to incite local population into some mayhem by sending in police or other disruptors.
Now, however, he did try to do this in Chicago, but as we have soon found out, where is it at right here? This right here. We end up finding out that Trump backs off of Chicago National Guard threat. This was September 12th, so this was 2 days ago. So whatever they're talking about in that video, like I said, this video, that video is 5 days old. It was 1 day before Charlie Kirk. And just to see how fast things are moving, like how rapidly things are going, I'm showing you something from 5 days, but then just 2 days ago, Trump backs off the National Guard threat in Chicago. So he's no longer doing that anymore. What's the reason? I don't why it matters. Chicago pushback on Trump's troop threat could be a model for other cities. So since there was pushback, I guess he backed off. However, Chicago leaders are doing victory laps on Friday after standing up to President Trump, who announced he's sending federal troops to fight crimes in Memphis instead. So dude said, okay, I guess I'm going to leave them alone and we're going to Memphis. So I don't know what's going on with Memphis. I mean, that's where my boy Young Dolph got shot. That was a very unfortunate, where he lost his life. But I don't know what's going on in Memphis for them to have to bring out troops to fight crime in Memphis instead. But whatever Chicago did, other people are going to take note and try to, do the same thing and fight off whatever it is that Trump is bringing to their city. You know what I mean? So Memphis is up next. As we see, Memphis now, as of September 12th, unless that's changed, because, how fast things have changed, anything can happen. So we'll see what's going on with Memphis and Trump and the situation with Trump happening in Memphis, because I'm kind of curious as to what's the point of bringing the troops into Memphis if you've already shown that you can't get them, through to Chicago. You back down on Chicago, you just send them over there to Memphis. I don't know what's going on. I have to dive deeper into that. I'm just kind of curious as to what's working and what's not. But as we can see, there's protests happening all over the place. It don't matter where you go, where you at, protest is going on, and it's crazy to watch. And watching how fast information changes, then you have a assassination happen, which then just changes like the trajectory. It changes the climate of everything. It like heats everything up at an exponential rate, and it's just crazy to watch. But let's watch a little bit more of this video. Let's see what we got. Let's see. Do we have this right here? Here we go.
He tests new powers. Just today, the Supreme Court said ICE can actually continue roving raids that had been challenged and paused by lower courts. Part of this includes what is basically the targeting of individuals based on appearance, what amounts to a type of racial profiling, no matter how you debate the wording, which usually, I want to tell you, is unconstitutional. In a 6-3 opinion, though, the court said that ICE can continue to do that for now and also allowed Trump.
Racial profiling is unconstitutional. I mean, I guess you could say that, but really? Like now racial profiling is unconstitutional? How come racial profiling hasn't been unconstitutional? Wait, never mind.
Trump to oust an FTC commissioner despite a federal law that prohibits presidents from doing that without cause. You take it together and you actually see something pretty rare, which is sustained street protests against a president who doesn't have any kind of good approval. He's underwater. Most people oppose him and what he's doing, even though he won an election. And yet the court is going out of its way, sometimes on a fast or emergency basis, to help the unpopular president with new powers that, remember, this MAGA court did not extend when there were Democrats in the White House. Here is Trump appointee Barrett discussing why she still doesn't think we're close to a constitutional crisis.
How will we know if we're in a constitutional crisis as American citizens? Like, what would that look like? Because honestly, if you're just a busy person going about your day and you see a lot of headlines that we're in a constitutional crisis, it's like, okay, how will we know that? What would that look like?
First, you take a civics class, and then you read the Constitution for yourself, and you get an understanding of it first before you listen to somebody else tell you what it is, because then you're going to believe their indoctrination rather than your own intelligence.
Well, look, I think the Constitution is alive and well, and I think that I don't know what a constitutional crisis would look like. I don't think that we are currently in a constitutional crisis.
To start a podcast with River.
Well, she don't know what it would look like. I mean, maybe that could be fair. She's never been in one. Hell, I ain't never been in one, so I can't say. But one thing that I do know is that there is too much stuff going on at one time. There's too much. There's a lot. There's just too much. There's this, there's that. There's protests here, protests there. We're watching a social media guy get assassinated who was rubbing elbows with politicians. And then the impact that it reverberated across the nation and stirring up heat and causing conflict. And people were even getting fired from their jobs. People getting fired from their jobs from memes or stuff that they said about Charlie Kirk being assassinated. People call people's employers, and people have been getting fired from their jobs from. Do I have any of those? No, I don't have any of those. I had some, you know what? I can probably pull one up while I'm talking. But people are getting fired from their jobs from dealing or from speaking negatively about the Charlie Kirk situation. So that's been crazy to watch. But I'm gonna actually pull some of those up. But we're gonna continue looking at this global pandemic. So let me continue on with the next one. Not pandemic, global protest. So the next one we're going to look at here, we got Australia. Australia's on the menu. And man, I mean, Australian chicks, them Australian chicks seem like they worse than these American chicks out here. They out there just getting loose with it. But let's see what they protesting about over in Australia. Oh, there it is.
The Premier is being urged to cancel her trip to China, with police set to be stretched to the limit across the state this weekend. Rival protest groups are planning action in the city tomorrow, just a day before Jacinta Allen jets off.
As duelling protesters prepare to face off in the city again, the Lord Mayor says they're not welcome.
My message to people considering coming into the city for the protests this weekend, I'd say don't come, please.
2 weeks after violence erupted, 6 protests are slated for this weekend, 4 tomorrow.
I mean, Melbourne is starting to look like the bar scene from Star Wars, and enough is enough.
It is the duty of all good people to stand up and confront racism and fascism.
The far right announced its protests first. The far left plans counter-protests converging outside Parliament.
We're not personally intimidated by these thugs.
Nazi group, the National Socialist Network, who were at the last, announced today they won't be there tomorrow, saying the upcoming Melbourne rally will be met with serious violence from the left. There will be no black shirts to protect rally-goers this time.
The reality is, though, unfortunately, that far-right politics in Australia extends well beyond the NSN.
We need to do more around attacking the causes that are driving hate and anger in people.
It's not just tomorrow's protests that will cause city disruptions. At noon on Sunday, the 100th weekly protest by pro-Palestinian activists will start at the State Library and march to Parliament at 2 p.m. It comes as the Premier prepares to leave the country for 5 days. Former Premier Jeff Kennett critical of her trip to China next week amid escalating crime, protests and a stretched police force. Telling her online today, cancel your trip, Premier.
Jam-packed with huge opportunities. There are government-to-government meetings, there are business meetings, there are cultural engagements.
Paul Dowsley, 7 News.
All right. Well, as you can see, Australia got some stuff going on too. So there's another conflict going on in Australia, as we can see, and they also have a 100 marches going on for Palestine in Australia, and yeah, there's just constant conflict going on across the world. But it raises the question, because like that guy said, he mentioned that we got to find out what is the root that's causing this anger and this hate. You're kind of late on that. You know, we're at the point of no return, in my opinion, because this isn't something that you could just like find at the root and cut it. It's been boiling up for so many years and so long, and it's just a years of accumulating of things that have happened, and it's not just one thing. It's a multitude of situations that are unraveling, that are just hitting at once. It ain't nothing you can do. You got to let it run its course, whether good or bad. It has to go through what it's going to go through. You can try to find the source, but you're going to find one source and realize there's another and another and another and another. And you're going to realize like, oh, we have to let this like do what it's going to do, because there's no way of stopping it. Because it's not a country thing, it's a global thing. But let's take a look at this video right here, where we have the 100 March for Palestine in Melbourne. This was 12 hours ago. So let's take a look at the march that they're doing in Australia for Palestine.
Kenyans have once again marched through the city, marking the 100th rally for Palestine. The demonstration followed mass protests yesterday, with businesses struggling to keep up weekend trade. Jack Ward reports.
It's become a Sunday tradition. Protesters flooding city streets in support of war-torn Palestine, marching today for the 100th time since the conflict began.
100 weeks of standing together, raising our voices for justice, for humanity, and for freedom.
We believe in medicine, not missiles, and clinics, not bombs.
It was the 5th rally held in Melbourne this weekend, and while things were peaceful, yesterday hundreds of police were bussed in to keep rival protest groups apart.
Hey, answer this question. You think those police were paying attention to her sign? Do you think they were reading what she was putting on her? Do you think they were looking at that like, hey, I think she's right? You know what I mean? I don't think he saw it. I think he had his head turned. I don't think he saw it either. And if that's a he, it looks like a she. It didn't see it either. So whatever she was trying to do here, it failed miserably.
Yesterday, hundreds of police were bussed in to keep rival protest groups apart. As the number of disruptions grow by the week, businesses are losing their patience, forced to shut their doors or have police block foot traffic.
While we do agree with the right to protest, people certainly do not have the right to impede on businesses.
Young families had to be ushered into the Saturday matinee of Annie. Neighbouring restaurants say their customers were scared away.
We need to have a protest right in the centre of Parliament House during all of the sitting weeks, so that members of Parliament of Victoria can't get their work done. And I bet the problem will get solved instantly.
I'm not going to talk down the place. I think it's fantastic, and people come here and they're proving the reputation because they keep coming here and airlines keep adding flights.
While today marks the 100th pro-Palestine march in the city, it certainly won't be the last as the war continues in Gaza. So police resources will continue to be deployed from across the state.
Well, to be honest with you, if this is the protest that they talking about, it don't seem that bad. You know, he over here kiki cackling and stuff like just look, like it doesn't seem like this protest don't seem very dangerous whatsoever. Like, look, they chilling. They walking, people back there protesting. These people ain't even part of the protest. Like, look at them. These people over here, oh, hold on, I got to go get this DoorDash dropped off. She got 2 bags over here. These ain't even protesting people. Like, this seems like it almost seems like a crisis actor setup is what it seems. Sorry, it almost seems like a crisis actor setup is what it looks like to me. Like, it looks like they set this up to kind of give you the illusion of a protest when it's not like as deep as it really seems. I'm just saying they trying to hit you with the okie doke. So Australia, I don't know if y'all serious about what y'all doing out there. I think y'all might just be on some y'all might be on some BS. I don't know. I have to look at y'all sideways. You know what I mean? Like right now, Australia, y'all over there marching, but I'm looking at y'all like this. Like, don't be capping. Like don't be like, is y'all protest that serious?
You lying ass bitch.
I hear you. I hear you. Okay. Y'all ain't out there protesting like Nepal. Nepal getting it in. Not that I support it, but I mean, as far as what their reasoning is, their government ain't acting right. They trying to get censored, then they doing what they supposed to do. So, but anyway, we got another one up right here. We're gonna take a look at what's going on. This one says that there's a U.S., UK, Poland, Ireland, Australia witnessed a big anti-immigration protest. So we have, what is that? 5 countries anti-immigration protests. So let's go ahead and take a look at this and see what we got going on here. Here we go.
From the U.S.
So we got LA. I wasn't aware of LA. And this video is 5 days old. We got London. We got Melbourne, Australia. We got Dublin, Ireland. So they had different dates. We got July 2025. We got July, August, and I don't know what day this is for LA. So summertime has been a hot summer is the best way to say it. So we'll see if the seasons change. We'll cool it off. But that's what we got so far.
To the UK, Poland, Australia, Ireland, and many others. A fresh wave of anti-immigrant protests are being witnessed in many countries in the West. Concerns over crime and security dominate the discourse, with top leaders often linking migrants to terrorism or violent crime.
Security and what was it? What did they say? Hold on, what was that?
Being witnessed in many countries in the West. Concerns over crime and security.
Crimes over crime and security. So when there's concerns over crime and security, then there's going to be a crackdown of epic proportions. That's what I always see, because last time, what was it? When we had 9/11, remember, that was a security issue. You know what I mean? So what did they do when it came down to our security? If anybody was old enough to understand what life was like before 9/11, was it 2001, I believe? If anybody's old enough to remember, you remember airports before 9/11. You go in, buy your ticket, and you walk straight to your plane terminal. There was no TSA. There was nobody checking your bags. You didn't have to walk in a little thing and let the thing go zzz around you in a circle. None of that. It was a different ball game back then. As soon as 9/11 hit, for your security, we need to check you in TSA and all this stuff. So when you hear crime and security, that means that there's about to be another serious crackdown as far as control measures go. This one is out in public. So that's what I'm kind of curious about. Or really, I'm on red alert, because it's security out in public. China already got the social surveillance system, where they can facial recognize your face and stuff like that, and they can social credit score. There it is, the social credit score. China's already got the social credit score, so it seems like, to protect yourself out in public from crimes and security, if we add this social credit score in public, this will protect everyone and anybody who gets hurt and all these things. Because you got the stabbing, the assassination, dude got beheaded in Dallas, kid got school shootings, all these different things. So crime and security become an issue. So therefore, what do you do? Because when 9/11 happened, what did they do? They implemented TSA in the airports for security measures. But at the end of the, as you go on, you understand the conspiracy theories about 9/11. Now we got this, and I say that they're going to try to implement the social credit score. I mean, they're already doing it. They just need a reason to lay it out. It's cause and effect. They can't just roll it out. There has to be a problem in order to roll it out. They cause the problem, and then they give you the solution on the back end. I mean, it's just what it is.
Dominate the discourse, with top leaders often linking migrants to terrorism or violent crime.
What his people did, representing him, was allow millions and millions of people from jails, from prisons all over the world, people from mental institutions and insane asylums, gang members, drug dealers, pouring into our place. And you know what? Our people voted for me to get them out.
Crime rate's gone up. There's a lot of assault charges have been dished out.
Execute the order! And we're being treated like second-class citizens.
Our kids are struggling to get homes.
What is behind the rising protests against migrants in the West? Why is the right to asylum under stress in many European nations? Are the protests xenophobic or carefully orchestrated to win votes? We delve into these questions in the latest episode of HT In-Depth.
All right, so what I'm noticing here is they constantly keep showing us the same footage over and over and over and over, trying to make it seem like worse than what it is. So you got to be careful. You got to be careful when you're watching things on the news, man. They're really good at creating false narratives and making you believe with a bunch of crisis actors, because half the time these people ain't even real people that are dealing with real problems. These are crisis actors that probably get paid good paychecks and they stay in a nice place, while you, on the other hand, are going through hell and high water dealing with the issues that they're putting and spraying out to the media. So just be aware of that, because they do that stuff. Straight up, crisis actors. You don't believe me? Look up crisis actors and just watch, and you'll see what I mean. All right, so let's see. We got the next thing here. The next thing here is, Africa. Africa got some stuff going on too. Let's refresh this real quick. Let's refresh this. Okay, so let me stop this, and we're going to take a look at what's going on in Africa. Africa got some stuff going on, man. So Africa is erupting in revolt. They are going against China. They have an anti-China protest going on, because of their influence and stuff that they have. But we're going to take a look and see what's going on with Africa having basically being fed up with China. But let's see how what's going on and why is this happening. So let's take a good look at this and figure this out. Please note, and our design to capture attention. Okay, while it aimed to deliver, we do not claim this video. Okay, so we do not claim accuracy, nor is this video intended as official or authoritative source. We encourage all viewers to verify facts independently and consult multiple trusted sources with critical thinking and open-mindedness, which is what we're going to do.
Africa in revolt. Anti-China protests sweep the continent. Africa rises up. Beijing loses control. Welcome to China Inside Media. From capital cities to remote towns, anti-China protests are sweeping the continent, fueled by anger over exploitation, debt, and broken promises. What Beijing once claimed as its sphere of influence is unraveling fast, leaving Chinese businesses and citizens in panic. Across Africa, anger at China's presence has erupted into the open. What once were murmurs of discontent have now become waves of protests sweeping capitals and towns alike. From West Africa to East Africa, demonstrators are flooding streets with banners denouncing what they call Chinese exploitation, demanding an end to unfair contracts, and in some cases, calling for Beijing's complete withdrawal. In Kenya's capital, Nairobi, thousands of protesters recently gathered outside the Chinese embassy, chanting slogans against rising debt and soaring costs tied to Chinese-financed infrastructure. Riot police were deployed as crowds hurled stones and waved placards reading, "China out of Africa."
So one of the issues that they have is unfair contracts, which that I could potentially believe. I would say unfair contracts could be a true statement. If some of that stuff could have been, fugazi or whatnot, I believe that unfair contracts would be a true statement. Because, China did pour a lot of money into Africa and infrastructure and stuff like that. So unfair contracts, I could believe that one. I just don't know exactly how deep the unfair contracts would go. But anyhow, move on to the next one. We have Koreans. Koreans said they've had enough. There's an intense anti-Chinese protest going on. That's going on with the deportation of Chinese people over there. So Korea's having a issue with China as well. So let's take a look and see what's going on with the people over there in Korea. So here we go. Let's check this out.
An anti-China protest on the streets of Seoul, South Korea. A Chinese woman in a blue shirt suddenly rushed out of the crowd and threw milk tea at Korean demonstrators. Her action was abrupt and unexpected, creating instant chaos. In the video, people kept shouting, "CCP out" and "China out." Police quickly stepped in, restrained the woman, and escorted her away. The video spread widely on social media and sparked heated discussion. Many Koreans expressed anger, saying the act was a provocation against their country's sovereignty.
They have a different definition of violence. that she's poured milk tea on her, caused a commotion and chaos ensued. And the lady was kicking his. I'm watching the video and like, it ain't that serious, bruh.
Others questioned her motive, wondering if she was acting under the influence or instruction of the Chinese Communist Party. Some believed she was one of
pouring milk tea. That's what that. Oh my gosh! Oh, you just poured milk tea on someone. You must be part of the CCP. Get her out of here. She's causing problems pouring milk tea on people. Ah.
The so-called Little Pinks brainwashed young Chinese nationalists. They said she might have grown used to being arrogant and entitled in China, and even in Korea, she behaved without restraint or respect. Comments online were full of sarcasm and criticism. One person wrote, "Sometimes I wonder how..."
Hey, hold on. The way they described that woman, she sounded like an American woman traveling. Listen.
Brainwashed young Chinese nationalists. They said she might have grown used to being arrogant and entitled in China, and even in Korea, she behaved without restraint or respect.
That sound like American women traveling. That's what that sound like. So you Chinese women got that American woman mindset too, huh? All right.
Comments online were full of sarcasm and criticism. One person wrote, "Sometimes I wonder how low a person can sink to blindly worship a regime that doesn't care about its people. This is worse than Stockholm Syndrome." Another wrote bluntly, "Send her back to her cage and then she'll behave." Since last December, protests have continued for more than 9 months in Seoul's Myeongdong district, the location of China's embassy. Demonstrators demand an end to CCP influence in Korea, and they also voice support for former President Yoon Suk-yeol, who remains in prison. More recently, they have turned their protests toward the pro-China policies of the Lee Jae-myung administration. The rallies have been large, with many participants, showing not only resistance to CCP influence, but also defense of Korea's sovereignty and democracy. Earlier this year, protesters tore down banners near the Chinese embassy that displayed the Chinese flag and images of Xi Jinping, Wang Huning, and Ambassador Dai Bing. China's foreign ministry issued a strong protest in response, but its so-called wolf warrior style only deepened resentment and widened the conflict.
Okay, so we see what they're doing here. So clearly, they got a problem with China. China's doing whatever it is that China does, and Korea just wants them out. They just want to have their country back to themselves. But once again, there's still another protest going on across the world. So as you see, regardless if they're intense or not, if they're like escalated or violent, it doesn't change the fact that people are still protesting in different parts of the world. There's still a certain, a certain energy that's being, expelled from these people in these countries. People are still feeling a type of way. So regardless of how bad it is, or even if it's not that bad, it's still elicit a protest that's then in turn giving off a negative feeling, a bad energy, which I talked about energy yesterday when we went over Silent Weapon for Quiet Wars. So now we have anti-CCP slogans that erupt in China. So we're going to take a look at this. This was early today. We're going to take a look at this one and see what's going on within China. This is a long one. We ain't going to go that long on this one. Pause. We're going to see exactly what's going on here. So let me pull this one up right here. This is inside of China. So let's see what's going on. There we go. Where is it? There you go.
Freedom will ultimately triumph over dictatorship. The uprising movement in Nepal inspires the Chinese people to rise up, with anti-CCP slogans erupting across China. The illusions of Xi Jinping's supporters have collapsed. Defending the party now means marching toward ruin. Pitching tents and sleeping under bridges has become a luxury. With widespread unemployment and factory closures, migrant workers have nowhere to stay. China's economy is caught in a power struggle, with major economic centers suppressed, rampant ghost projects, and corruption. The authoritarian governance model is killing everything. No passengers. Yet empty trains still have to run China's 54 cities, with metro systems are burdened with approximately 4.7 trillion yuan in debt. You're watching Decoding China, where we bring you timely analysis and grounded perspectives.
Okay, so they're 4.7 trillion yen. Did you say yen?
Your metro systems are
4.7 trillion yuan in debt. So China is 4.7 trillion yuan in debt. Let's convert that. Let's see how bad that is. Yuan to USD. Let's see. Oh wow, let's see. So 4.7 comma and what do you get? No, not 43. Should I do comma 4.7 100,000 million trillion? Is that right? So then they would probably be, if not either just as much depth as America, or if not double the amount. I think they would be double the amount. Let me check my number. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. No, well, is that right? Is my numbers right? Let's see. Oh, okay, there we go. Let me start up. Here it goes. Okay, so we got hundreds, 100,000, 100 million. I got 66 trillion. So 4.7 trillion yuan in debt is 66 trillion, and they have more people, of course. So that would make sense. They have a lot more people than we do, so that would make sense. China's in debt just like everybody else, just like the United States is in debt. But the U.S. is like 30-something trillion in debt, so China is double that number. All right, so as we see, all this stuff is going on, is running rampant all around the country. So now we got to go on over to Moscow, Russia. All right. Yeah, I don't want to go on this too long because I don't want Putin to come get me, because he seemed like somebody who not to be messed with. So we're going to go over this one real quick and see what's going on in Russia. So we got another one going on. Another protest happening across the world. So as you see, this stuff keeps happening. What's going on, TK Novio? What's going on, sir? Just going through these little global issues of these global protests that are happening around the world, not country, the world. I'm almost at the end of it. So we got Russia right here. So we're going to take a look and see what's going on with Russia. So here we go.
Session that took place in Moscow on September the 7th from the Cathedral of Christ the Savior to the Novodevichy convent unexpectedly turned into a serious challenge for Russian security forces and sowed panic in the Kremlin. Although the event was initially presented as religious and purely apolitical, the scale of the procession and the composition of its participants caused alarm among Putin's authorities and the special services, writes VCHK-OGPU. According to official data, about 40,000 people took part in the procession. However, independent sources claim that the number of participants could have reached 120,000. In addition to parishioners and representatives of the Russian Orthodox Church, organized groups of nationalist movements were seen in the...
Okay, so as you can see here, Russia is having the same thing too. So we got another protest going on. So that's UK. Well, I guess UK has all the different ones. So in the UK, you got England. What is it? England, Dublin, London, and there's one more. England, Dublin, Ireland, London, and one more in the UK. I forget who it is. And then you got the US is going crazy over Charlie Kirk right now. Then you have South Korea dealing with the Chinese. You got Russia dealing with this piece. So all these different protests, everything is happening everywhere you go. All sorts of stuff is constantly going on. And it seems like it's like never ending. I didn't realize that many protests were happening all at the same time, which is crazy. What up, Jazz? How you doing? I just saw that. I didn't know all these different protests were going on at the same time. So as you see that, let me pull this thing back up because I got to pull this thing back up. Now, if you see all these protests going on, again, like I always say, it's always set up for a reason. And one of the, also Nepal had protests going on. And usually when you see all these different things going on, the London protest was about immigration, you know what I mean? And Australia, they was protesting too. They had an immigration issue as well. So they're fighting over crime and security. And if you keep fighting over crime and security, always the same thing is going to happen. It's going to be the same thing that happened, like I just said earlier, whenever we had the 9/11 issue. Everything was good until 9/11 happened. Then the airports implemented TSA for safety, but you know, it turns out it wasn't as serious as what they made it seem. So then now you have all of these crimes and security measures going on that they're looking for all these protests. But what's going to end up happening, I believe, is that they're going to turn this into a surveillance state like China. So we're going to be walking around and, you know, we're going to be on a social credit score, which they already have it ready to do. Let me turn this down. They already have this ready to do. They're already going to set this up. It's just a matter of time before they do it. And let me go ahead and show you this right here. We have this right here. Where is it? So I want to show you what it is that they're moving towards. And I showed this yesterday, but everybody was watching, what's it called? Crawford and Canelo, which again, shout out to Crawford for winning that fight. That was a nice one to see. But I showed this yesterday during the show that I did with Charlie Kirk. And this is going to basically break down to show you what the whole situation is about. Like, everybody's like complaining and fighting over what they're fighting over, but it's really all lined up. It's already planned. It's already set up. So I showed you this yesterday. I'm gonna show you again today. I'm gonna just break it down to you real quick. It's not gonna take long because it's fairly simple, and this is an old document, but it's still being followed like to the T. So let me see. Here it goes. Where are we at? Where are we at? Here we go. Come on, go back. So this is the old document that's been floating around for quite some time. And you can call it an old document if you want to, but at the end of the day, you can't help but realize that what's in this document is actually happening. So here it goes. Let's see if I can just rewind it faster because my thing is moving slow. Okay, here we go. There it is. Let me get it right here. And pause. Right here, when those positions of authority is only a matter of time for decades. Okay, here we go. We'll start right here. So let me put this up on the screen.
Power for the.
Let me make sure I got it right.
Well recognized.
Where are they reading from? Where are they reading from?
By those in positions of authority. As many.
All right, here we go. Let me start this off right here. So this right here, this document will tell you exactly what they're doing. It's not hard to see. They don't hide it from you. You just got to read it. So it's the old document. Let's go ahead and listen to what they say, and you'll get an understanding as to what they're doing and why all these different things are happening across the globe and also in the country itself. This will give you a good understanding as to what we're going through. So here we go. Listen closely.
25th anniversary of the beginning of the Quiet War. Already this domestic war has had as many victories on many fronts throughout the world. Political introduction. In 1954, it was well recognized by those in positions of authority that it was only a matter of time, only a few decades, before the general public would be able to grasp and upset the cradle of power. For the very elements on the new silent weapon technology were as accessible for a public utopia as they were for providing a private utopia. The issue of primary concern, that of dominance, revolved around the subject of energy sciences.
You see this? In 1954, been going on for a while. Right here, it says for very elements of the new silent weapon technology were accessible for a public utopia as they were for providing a private utopia. This is what they want, private utopia. This is what they don't want, public utopia. Who's in the public? You. Who's in the private? Not you. The issue of the primary concern is what? That of dominance. What do you mean? It's revolved around the subject of energy science. What is energy science? Well, let's find out.
Energy. Energy is recognized as the key to all activity on Earth. Natural science is the study of the sources and control of natural energy, and social science, theoretically expressed as economics, is the study of the sources and control of social energy. Both are bookkeeping systems, mathematics. Therefore, mathematics is the primary energy science, and the bookkeeper can be king if the public can be kept ignorant of the methodology of the bookkeeping. All science is merely a means to an end. The means is knowledge, the end is control. Beyond this remains only one issue: who will be the beneficiary?
Okay, so we know what the main key is. Energy. Energy is recognized as the key to all activity on Earth. That's the key. That is the key. The key is energy. All activity on Earth. Okay? Keep in mind that they need to find out who the beneficiary is going to be, because they're going to control what? The natural science, which is going to be sources and control of natural energy, and also economics. They want these things under control. They already have them under control, so it's already there. But to get a grasp of understanding as to why everything is happening the way it is today and how it's going to continue to happen moving forward, you need to understand the playbook, and they're implementing it strategically all the way through. Let's continue.
In 1954, this was the issue of primary concern. Although the so-called moral issues were raised in view of the law of natural selection, it was agreed that a nation or world of people who will not use their intelligence are no better than animals who do not have intelligence. Such people are beasts of burden and stakes on the table by choice and consent. Consequently, in the interest of future world order, peace, and tranquility, it was decided to privately wage a quiet war against the American public with an ultimate objective of permanently shifting the natural and social energy, wealth of the undisciplined and irresponsible many into the hands of the self-disciplined, responsible, and worthy few. In order to implement this objective, it was necessary to create, secure, and apply new weapons, which, as it turned out, were a class of weapons so subtle and sophisticated in their principle of operation and public appearance as to earn for themselves the name silent weapons. In conclusion, the objective of economic research as conducted by the magnates of capital, banking, and the industries of commodities or goods and services is the establishment of an economy which is totally predictable and manipulatable. In order to achieve a totally predictable economy, the low-class elements of society must be brought under total control. Example, they must be housebroken, trained, and assigned a yoke, a long-term social duty from a very early age, before they have an opportunity to question the propriety of the matter. In order to achieve such conformity, the lower-class family unit must be disintegrated by a process of increasing preoccupation of the parents and the establishment of government-operated daycare centers for the occupationally orphaned children. The quality of education given to the lower class must be of the poorest sort, so that the mode of ignorance isolating the inferior class from the superior class is and remains incomprehensible to the inferior class. With such an initial handicap, even bright lower class individuals have little, if any, hope of extricating themselves from their assigned lot in this life. This form of slavery is essential to maintain some measure of social order, peace, and tranquility for the ruling upper class.
Okay, so there you have, well, that's not even all of it. So there right there, it tells you, who are they attacking? Who are they attacking? It says it right here. In order to achieve such conformity, the lower class family unit must be disintegrated, and they want to preoccupy the parents, and then they want to also give the quality of education given to the lower class, and it must be of the poor sort, so that the mode of ignorance isolating the inferior class from the superior class is and remains incomprehensible. So therefore, they're attacking the children. They're going after the kids. They make you dumb from birth. They make you dumb from the very beginning. Okay, and who are they focused on? Well, it's slavery. They didn't change. Look, it says it right here. This form of slavery. It's still slavery. They're just not beating you over the head. It's essential to maintain some measure of social order and peace and tranquility. For who? The ruling upper class, not you. So when you see all these little protests going on and people walking around wanting to make a change, even if you fight, it doesn't change the fact it's set up that way to go in a certain direction for what they want to achieve in the end. And watch what they say when we introduce and give you an understanding to the description of what the silent weapon is and how it works. Pay attention.
Descriptive introduction of the silent weapon. Everything that is expected from an ordinary weapon is expected from a silent weapon by its creators, but only in its own manner of functioning. It shoots situations instead of bullets, propelled by data processing instead of chemical reaction or explosion, originating from bits of data instead of grains of gunpowder from a computer instead of a gun, operated by a computer programmer instead of a marksman, under the orders of a banking magnate instead of a military general. It makes no obvious explosive noises, causes no obvious physical or mental injuries, and does not obviously interfere with anyone's daily social life, yet it makes an unmistakable noise, causes unmistakable physical and mental damage, and unmistakably interferes with the daily social life. Example, unmistakable to a trained observer, that is, one who knows what to look for. The public cannot comprehend this weapon and therefore cannot believe that they are being attacked and subdued by a weapon. The public might instinctively feel that something is wrong, but that is because of the technical nature of the silent weapon. They cannot express their feelings in a rational way or handle the problem with intelligence. Therefore, they don't know how to cry for help and don't know how to associate with others to defend themselves against it.
There it is. Okay, so you have the silent weapon and you don't know how to defend yourself from it. What is a silent weapon? Well, it shoots situations instead of bullets. It's propelled by data processing, which we see a hell of a lot of now in the technologically world we live in, instead of chemical reaction, which is explosions or gunpowder. It originates from bits of data instead of grains of gunpowder. It's from a computer instead of a gun, operated by a computer programmer instead of a marksman. Like, bruh. Now, look at this right here. Yet it does make a noise. Causes unmistakable physical and mental damage. We see that. It happens all the time, and it interferes with daily life. You know something's wrong, you just can't put your finger on it. Well, it's this and it's that, and then you walk outside and you go do a peaceful protest and you walk all silent, and these police walk around you with guns, and you're like, this is gonna make a change, and it's not, because they allow you to do peaceful protest. They allow you to do that. It's the protest when you fight back where they don't allow you to do. That's why protesting peacefully is legal. They allow you to do it, right? The public cannot comprehend this weapon, therefore they can't believe they've been attacked. The public might feel something is wrong, but it's because of the nature of the silent weapon. You can't express your feelings in a rational way, which we see, or nor can you handle the problem with intelligence, which we see. Therefore, you cry for help, but you don't know how to associate with others to defend yourself against it. We see this happening, and this has been the same playbook implemented, and this has been a long time coming. And the technology only makes it harder to see. It only makes it harder to comprehend, understand. This stuff is old. This ain't new hat. This is old news. But let me finish up. We're almost done.
When a silent weapon is applied gradually, the public adjusts or adapts to its presence and learns to tolerate its encroachment on their lives until the pressure, psychologically via economic, becomes too great and they crack up. Therefore, the silent weapon is a type of biological warfare. It attacks the vitality, options, and mobility of the individuals of society by knowing, understanding, manipulating, and attacking their sources of natural and social energy and their physical, mental, and emotional strengths and weaknesses.
And there it is. That's the end of it. Or at least that's all I'm going to show you for today because I got to go. The silent weapon is a type of biological warfare. So we've had World War I, which we saw, pew-pews and pew-pews, right? We saw World War II, right? We saw World War II. That's what got us out of the Great Depression. World War II got us out of the Great Depression because of the jobs that it provided, but we saw pew-pews and airplanes and all that stuff. Everybody's waiting on World War III. You've been in World War III. You just didn't know it. That's the whole thing. You've been in World War III. It's biological. It's technology. You just don't know it. They got their foot in your ass for decades, and you have no clue. You just sitting around like, oh, well, something will change. Oh, it's getting harder. Man, it's not getting easy. And, something's going to happen. And, oh, man, we're going to vote this person in. They're going to make a change. And it's like I always say. It's like I said yesterday. I said this over and over. I'll say it again before I end the show. There's a left wing and a right wing. You can call it Democrat. You can call it Republican. I don't care. The bird is the same. The bird is the body in the middle, the head, the body, the legs and stuff like that. Okay, that body of the bird is going to an agenda. You can argue on the left if you want to be radical and Democratic. You can argue on the right if you want to be conservative and Republican. But what doesn't change is that wing is on the same bird, and the body of that bird is going to a particular agenda in a particular direction, and it knows where it's going when it gets there. And when it gets there, y'all are sitting here fighting on top of this bird this entire time, and as soon as that bird gets to its destination, the bird gonna turn his head around like the Exorcist and look at both of y'all like,
prepare the Mixodome.
And that's gonna be the end of it. with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I gotta roll up out of here. I got stuff I gotta take care of. I got things I gotta do. I wish I could go longer, but this was just a quick show because, like I said, I usually don't do Sunday shows, but I kind of slacked off on Thursday and Friday. Went ahead and did it yesterday's stream, so go check that one out about Charlie Kirk. It's actually a very interesting one on my viewpoint, on my take that I did. It's like 4 hours long, so if you ain't got nothing to do, get some popcorn, eat some food, go check it out. But I gotta get up out of here. Thank you for tuning in. I love y'all. Peace. Enjoy the Sexy Latino on the way out the door.
Follow D. Elliott Fitness for the kind of workouts you'll never forget.
I'd rather be in the studio than in jail or on the street. Talking the wrong, couldn't off your teeth. Got that one hit to quit and knock you off your feet. It's big on, baby, I'm obsolete. Pockets chunky like cottage cheese. Real nigga, I just gotta be. Smoking weed that don't gotta see. Used to be a hustler prodigy. I love when people say they proud of me. I'm eating good, smoking broccoli. Taking over blocks like Monopoly. Only fuck the ones that's my policy. Most of these hoes trying to cause a scene. Like niggas mad they not on the team. See, I got bread, then buy the dream. The game on like, and I got the keys like Jay. My fame won't stop, but the only thing I'm chasing. The game on like, and I got the keys like Jay. Don't wait no nigga in the booth, playing beats. The game on like, and I got the keys like Jay. My fame won't stop, but the only thing I'm chasing. The game on like, and I got the keys like Jay. Don't wait no nigga in the booth, playing beats. Counting cash and smoking green, can be blow a cloud like a smoke machine. Bitch, I'm a dick, she got no steam. Bumblebee ass, yeah, I know it's thing. I'll plug your bitch like a 6-string. Jordan with the bitches got 6 rings. Smoke till my bitch a split screen. The first pain pills and sipping lane. Riding dirty, but I'm extra clean. Lyrics nice, but I'm extra mean. All-star, heavyweight like Wolverine. The bitch learns like she over me. I flip money like Clover G. Gang hustle like CIP. Install baby like D.I.G. Acronym like KRT. The game on like, and I got the keys like Jay-Z. My fame won't stop, but the only thing I'm chasing. The game on like, and I got the keys like Jay-Z. Don't wait no nigga in the booth, playing beats. The game on like, and I got the keys like Jay-Z. My fame won't stop, but the only thing I'm chasing. The game on like, and I got the keys like Jay-Z. Don't wait no nigga in the booth, playing beats. In the beats like RP, no hard shit with your artery. Cutting up, who sharp as me? Rolling up accordingly. Pulling hoes, no sorcery. Rapping like y'all forcing me. If I ain't right, then it's forgery. Nigga selling to the rock like a Florida beat. Lyrical monster on the Lord of Beach. Text nigga, my bitch Georgia Peach. Pimp tight nigga, I do more than cheat. Cold like D-Wade, I go to heat. Bitch, I'm on way, hit the short police. Money jumping like a nigga on my sneeze. Come to Bad James, get me on the beat. Bitch, I'm always winning like, what's the fee? The game on like, and I got the keys like Jay.